Thanks for tuning in. I'm Alex Crypto. Check me out on Twitter at AlexCryptoTV. Check out the website alexcrypto.com for the latest news and articles and all sorts of updates. Checking out the global markets. Market cap currently stands at 266 billion, grew by about 10 billion in the last 24 hours. Let's take a look at the charts. Last time we checked out Bitcoin, we said that overall it might take a bump here, but overall it might continue its trajectory down to 5,700, 5,200, and even possibly lower. So we did take the technical pivot. It looks like we might be expecting a double tap here at the 7,100 anytime soon, where it will probably top out, but it might not. But at this point, I doubt that the bulls have returned full time to take over the market. So I think this will come up for another tap here maybe. Potentially it may even go up here, which is the $7,250 level, before coming back down somewhere over here possibly, and maybe even lower. So definitely be one to watch. We'll see what Bitcoin does. Well, let's put these things in dotted so we know this is only a possibility for now, but anything can happen. So moving on to Bitcoin Cash, this is the one I put a position down for that I said in the other video. Now we see Bitcoin Cash is actually progressing quite nicely up to the sale zone at about $690. Looks like we still have some room on the RSI, and so far everything is looking healthy for Bitcoin Cash. The target, let's see what the target, how did I get that target? Well, I have a special fib tool here that I've kind of modified with all my experience doing this, and I measured these crazy candles, the first ones at the start of an Elliott wave set, and usually the target will be right here, this wave 4, which is at 683, and see, it matches up with the other fib levels perfectly. So that's another piece of evidence that I have, that I had to make this move onto Bitcoin Cash rather than the other top currencies that we reviewed. So look, for example, moving on to Ethereum. Ethereum was probably one of the best performing ones, and this was a shocker. This went right into the target zone, and it looks like it still has some strength on the RSI, although the stochastic is pointing downwards on the hourly. But we see plenty of buy interest here, so potentially it might even spring up a little more. We could even see Ethereum spring up here potentially to this zone here, 416.20. But what also may up happening, it might come down from here already. So this is an interesting one to watch. It reached its target zone, so if I was playing Ethereum, I'd probably sell it here to be safe, but again, there might be further upside. It still hasn't technically tapped this $405 line yet. It's close, but it hasn't tapped it yet. So potentially there's still some more upside here, and we might see this reversal come from over here somewhere. So moving on to Litecoin, which was an interesting one, but a huge disappointment because on the bright side though, even though it didn't pan out, at least you wouldn't have lost any money because it's kind of bouncing around sideways. Now, why is that? Why did the other targets work but this one didn't? Well, it's simple. In my opinion, it's because on the long term, if you look on the daily, Litecoin has not completed its long-term Fibonacci retracement. So on the long term, if you look this way, for example, let's zoom out into the 6-hour chart. You see that we're actually quite far from the bottom here, which is the 5480 zone. So I think that's possibly why Litecoin just went sideways, because it's not done retracing. And then again, there's also been some negative news surrounding Litecoin and the dissolution of LitePay and da 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 da. I'm sure you guys all heard of it. But there it is. It didn't even reach the target zone, but at least it didn't go down either. Now that's not to say it won't happen. It still might go up there. But at this point, I'm starting to doubt it. I think there'll be further downside. And the last video, we also talked about QTUM to the dollar. QTUM also did take a nice little spring up here. Let's take a look at the hourly. So looking at the hourly, QTUM took a little spring up there, but again, did not reach its target zone at $14.50. Can it still happen? Absolutely. It might just be taking a little longer, but again, we also might have reached the ceiling here with QTUM as well. It's also very possible that all you're going to get out of this is up at the half and then back down again. That's also very, very possible. Is it likely? I don't know. It's very interesting very interesting what's going on here. We'll have to wait and see. Based on what Bitcoin is doing, I would say there's probably maybe a little more room for growth here. I don't know. It's a hard call. I mean, there's no buyer volume at this level, so chances are we're just probably going to double tap here and go down. That's also possible. Like I said before, this is Bitcoin again. But QTUM, I'm saying it may run out of strength here at the 5 at 1378. Either way, this is an interesting one to watch. We'll definitely be watching this one all day very closely. But for now, I'm Alex Crypto. Check out the website alexcrypto.com or hit me up on Twitter at AlexCryptoTV. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Subscribe and like, and I'll see you next video.